corner down there. See him right here by the corner in the order. This vehicle assembly building is one of the largest buildings in the world, but it doesn't really look that way out here. They're just nothing to scale it against. The stars on that flag are 6 feet across. We could drive the bus down one of the stripes. You could put Old Yankee Stadium up on the roof and still have an acre left over for parking. It is the tallest single-story building in the world, and now 6th largest by volume, or the amount of space inside of it. If you could take them apart and restack them back up inside that building, it would hold 3.5 Empire State Buildings. Up ahead, you're going to get a look at our crawler transporters. We have the only 2 that were ever made. They were built in the early 1960s by the Marion Power Shovel Company out of Marion, Ohio. Shipped here in segments and assembled on site. They're the largest self-powered track vehicles in the world. They weigh 6 million pounds and carry 3 times that much. Coming into view on the right. On the way out to the launch pad, loaded about 1 mile an hour. Empty, they race back at about 2 miles an hour. The mileage on those about 32 feet to the gallon. That's about 150 gallons of diesel per mile. Actually, that vehicle is pretty good. On the front left-hand corner, there's a glass-enclosed operator's cab. They have an identical unit to that diagonally across. The reason for that, look over your left shoulder. See that gator in the water on the left shoulder? Yep. 3-for-1 special today. There's a cab on the front left corner, one diagonally across. The reason for that, this thing goes forward and neutral. If you want to go in the other direction, you actually have to leave the cab, walk around to the other side, and drive it in the other direction. Each cleat on one of the tracks. Way up on. The gray platform ahead of us is a mobile launch platform used by the Space Shuttle. We have 3 of those. It sits on 6 pedestals like that in the vehicle assembly building and out at the launch pad. So the crawler transporter would slip underneath that platform and pick it up, move it over to the vehicle assembly building and leave it there. They'd stack the shuttle up on the platform. Crawler would go back in, pick up that whole rig, move it out to the launch pad and leave it there. The shuttle would launch from the platform, and then the crawler would go out and retrieve the platform and bring it back so we can start preparing for the next mission. The platform all by itself weighs over 8 million pounds. As they go by, if you look up underneath them, you'll see 3 large holes there. That's where the flames and the blast would come through. The 2 holes side by side, that's one for each of these solid rocket boosters. The larger hole closer to us is for the blast from the 3 main shuttle engines. Ahead of us, there's a platform with a tower on top of it. Now that is a brand new mobile launcher platform for that Space Launch System rocket. Now the shuttle can bolt up on the flat platform, but this new rocket is going to be so tall, they need places where they can stabilize it and access it. So this stands about 390 feet tall from the ground to the top. If you look under this one, there's a large rectangular opening for the flames and the blast. That's a little bigger than 30 by 60. It's shaped like that because this is basically going to be like a moon rocket with a solid rocket booster on either side of it. Now that platform weighs over 10 million pounds. So it's still under construction. If you look between us and the vehicle assembly building, there's a great gantry looking thing over there with a weight room on the end of it. It sits on a red base. That's actually the crew access arm. So they're going to get that up on that tower here pretty soon in the future. When you see astronauts getting on that Orion capsule to go to the moon or Mars, they'll be walking across that platform. The gray doors on the side of the vehicle assembly building, there was 2 on the other side. Those are the tallest doors in the world, 456 feet. It takes 40 or 45 minutes just to open one of those all the way up. After it's open, you can easily slide the Statue of Liberty right through it and have over 150 feet left over. The door on the right side is high bay number 3, and that's the one they're preparing so they can assemble that new Space Launch System rocket. Now I want you to look right down at ground level and right between the 2 big gray doors. Can you see those 3 little mouse holes hiding down there? Those are people doors. The smaller building with the dark windows is Launch Control Center. That is the electronic brains of Launch Complex 39. But even though computers would handle most launch operations, there would still be around 200 engineers and technicians inside on launch day. We maintained control of the shuttle until about the time it cleared the launch tower, At that point, we would transfer it over to Mission Control in Houston, Texas. This is the crawler way beside us. You can see the tracks where that crawler's come through here recently. This is about the width of an 8-lane highway. They had to dig that down about 7 feet, build it back in with various layers of fill, finally putting this river rock up on top. They chose river rock because it's smooth. It acts like ball bearings to cushion the ride of the crawler, and it doesn't spark. When that crawler does go through, it's pretty well pulverized the top layers. This has to be regraded after every trip.
We are now approaching Launch Pad 39A. It was constructed for the Apollo program and is where...
Two outside first stages are recovered rockets, okay? They've already been into space, and they're going to try to land both of those back on Cape Canaveral. The center stage is a new stage, and that's going to hang in there a little bit longer with the second stage. They're going to try to bring that down on the barge. So if they can bring down 3 first stages at the same time, that would be a pretty good trick all by itself, right? Well, this rocket is a test flight. You don't want to put millions of dollars worth of satellites on a test flight. It might blow up. It might go the wrong direction. You don't know what could happen, right? So, what do you? Anybody know what the payload is on this rocket today? It is a Tesla, yeah. Elon Musk owns SpaceX. He also owns Tesla Motors and Solar City, and he's one of the co-founders of PayPal. So he put his personal Tesla Roadster on top of that rocket. It's a bright red, I think 2008, 2009 model, and he's going to send this thing to Mars. And when it goes up on the radio, he's going to be playing a Space Oddity by David Bowie. How's that for publicity? So we can't go out to this pad because we're playing with that rocket here. We're going to take a left and go out to pad B, but have your camera ready, and there's a couple 3 spots where you might get a picture. In fact, you might want to get one as soon as I make the turn, but have it ready for a couple more down the road.
Which side of the bus?
Right. Nowhere else on KSC is preparation for the future as obvious as at Launch Pad 39B. Built as an identical
1,000 gallons of water. They would hold that water on the pad at once during launch in about 20 or 30 seconds. Now you would think that they would be trying to control the heat, but that's not the case. They were trying to deaden the sound. They didn't want those sound waves bouncing back up and down. You got shells in the rockets falling off the back. That would be a bad day, right? These are